Welcome back to the greenhouse today, everybody. Upon having tons of requests to cover simple solar systems, 12 volt, 100 watt DC power, just a simple solar panel, a controller, a battery, and your appliance. I've had tons of questions, so I wanted to cover setting up a simple solar system today and talk about what we've ran for appliances and our rule of thumb on how to set them up and have them operate through winter when we don't have a whole lot of solar activity. So I want to give some tips and tricks today. So if that sounds interesting, please consider subscribing. Let's get right into this. Oh, I'm gonna steal the bucket so I can sit on it here. I've got a bunch of little goodies, bits and bobs that we are going to set a simple solar system up with. And I've got a solar panel in the greenhouse, as you can see, and I took my shade cloths off. So we've got enough energy coming through our poly this morning. It was pretty chilly this morning, but it's warming up. I've got my stove going, or my son got my stove going down there. He's got some banana bread or some type of bread cooking in the oven. No idea where he went, but he's somewhere on the property. A simple solar system can cost anywhere from $90 to $110 for a relatively cheap but efficient system. One panel, a controller, and everything you need to hook it up minus the battery. So we just use recycled batteries out of lawnmowers, cars. We've always got free stuff coming to us, and we're scouring Marketplace for all types of recycled items that we can use and upcycle for any purpose that we have. I will say that using an expensive solar powered battery with a lot of amp hours, example, a 12 volt 100 amp hour battery is probably going to be like $500. This one was free, so I'm using it to the best of our abilities, and this is just an example battery today. I pulled it off another system so we can run this today. So these systems can pay for themselves in energy production within a year. And if you have more paired up, you can pay off each system within a couple months, depending on how much energy you're creating. So a well-positioned panel can pay for itself in about a year, just one single panel. The average cost of a kilowatt of energy in America across the board was about 18 cents in 2025. So if we've got about 13 hours of energy a day, if we're not considering winter, we can do about 1,300 watts a day. And in a month, we're looking at about 39,000 watts, or about 39 kilowatts, which translates to about 468,000 watts a year if it is in a good position and has full sunlight. Even on cloudy days, you're producing energy. It may not be the full 100 watts per hour, but this is just in general to give you guys an idea. So 468,000 watts would be 468 kilowatts, and that would translate to about $84.24 on average per year created from one well-placed solar panel. So if it costs $80, $90, $100 to buy a solar panel system, then it's paid for itself in a year with the energy that it's produced. Now, we've ordered 4 more solar panels on top of the 5 that we have in various places and locations outside the greenhouse. So running those 9 solar panels, I will spare you guys running through all the math again. It's about 4,200 kilowatts a year, and that is about $750 worth of electricity that can be produced from those 9 solar panels. And that is much more than we need, but we are kind of stepping up some experiments where we need 300-400 watts for one project. So some of those new panels will be dedicated all to one system, as opposed to each 100 watt system we have all over the greenhouse. I apologize for boring you guys. We are getting past the numbers. We're going to go ahead and directly set this system up. So upon setting up a simple solar system, let's go ahead and take a zoomed in look at our solar controller here. Try and set the camera up. So it's hard to see, but these 2 inputs are solar panel, these 2 inputs are battery, and these are accessory. Try and zoom in so we can see the actual little indicators on there. So that is exactly how all of these lie out. Now, we take our screwdriver and unscrew these. So as we pull it out, it opens up the port, and as we screw it in, it tightens down the port. So the first thing we always hook up is a battery. We want to hook up our battery and give power to our controller, and that is how we will know if we have a good controller, if we're able to actually operate this system. So as with everything I always hook up, we're going to go with negative first, slide our negative up in the port, All right, so it's nice and tight. We're going to take our negative and click it on to the negative source of the battery. All right, all these little homemade connectors I got here. So this is going to be our power source. So we will take this, run it into the port. So just zooming out for a second, we've got our positive and it's nice and snug. Let's go ahead and plug it onto the battery. And this battery is sitting at, what, 13.6. So we got a decent battery. Like I said, I took it from another solar system there. So the next thing we're going to hook up is our solar panel itself. We're going to run the negative up into the port. We want to make sure we get that negative all the way in there because these are larger. You can see it's got the brazed end fitting, nice and square, perfect fitting. It looks like we've got our solar panel hooked up. Let me tighten this down and I will show everybody. All right, so we've got solar panel hooked up, battery hooked up, battery first, then solar panel, negative first, then positive. So we've got an operating system hovering right about perfect. So now you can see that we've got our panel. So you can see our panel is feeding the battery. The battery is full. Now we've got a light bulb. That is our accessory. We're going to take some wires, hook up an accessory, and see if it operates. So I always have all these little tester clips. I'm going to use this little clip here and plug it right into the negative port. Same thing with positive. Nice little tester clip. I've always got a bunch of these handy for attaching and testing items. So there we are, sitting with everything hooked up. So this tiny little fan here, 12 volt, 0.33 amps. Not very much watt draw there. So you can see that we've got this adapter clip because this was meant to plug into a computer. So we're just going to go ahead and snip that right off. Now we've got bare wires. Not yet, but we've got wires. We're going to go ahead and strip each of the wires, open up each end. Just opening up the sheath so we can have exposed wire. So just running a simple screw in there. I'm going to hook this up onto our board so it doesn't go flying all over the place when I actually plug it in here. So the only thing left to do is actually plug this in and see if we've done everything correctly. Negative, bend it over a bit, positive. Now that thing is cranking out some air. So this is exactly how I set up every little solar system. That thing's working well. And you can see we've got plenty of energy. It doesn't even notice that that accessory is operating because we've got plenty of energy coming in from our solar panel to recharge the battery. That little fan will probably run a couple hours after dark. Everything is hooked up properly. Very simple. Takes like 5 minutes to set one of these systems up here. So it's as easy as that. Oh, I'm just sitting on the floor now. So it's as easy as that. We keep a rule of thumb. We want to use 30 to 35% of the 100 watts. So 30 to 35 watts maxed out per one system. So this little fan here being at 0.33 amps. We know the voltage, we know the amps, but we don't know how many watts it's actually using. So this small fan is going to pull 3.9 watts per hour. And we could stack up 10 of these and still operate under our minimum or at our minimum of 30 to 35%. That's how we've been achieving this throughout the winter time when the light hours are dim and it's cloudy for a month or two at a time. We've still got enough energy coming through the clouds when our solar panels are normally outside the greenhouse to operate a lesser system. You don't want to run 100 full watts because you're going to have on and off because it's struggling to keep up with the demands of the accessory you're trying to run. We've got medium fans in the greenhouse that run about 7.5 watts, and then we've got our blue fans on our little DIY solar heater that run about 12.5 watts. And we've got 2 of those on that system with a 10-watt pump. So we've got about 35 watts in that system itself. That is maxed out, but it operates even when it's cloudy. Now, if you take something like this inline blower fan that's right here next to me, that thing operates at 30 watts. Technically, we're able to run one of these off of one solar system, maybe piggyback a little 3.5 or 3.9 watt fan like this guy right here, but there's not much else to it. That's why we have designated systems for our compost water heating, because we have all of our fans down there running at about 30 watts with 4 or 5 fans on it, but we have one water pump running per solar system, so we can still operate through winter when the low light hits. Now you may ask, how am I finding the wattage when the wattage isn't given to you? You've got volts and you've got amps. Now, there's 3 equations that all intersect with each other. You can find watts, you can find volts, you can find amps. To find your wattage, you're going to multiply your volts times your amps. And in reverse, to find amps, it's watts divided by voltage, and to find volts, it's watts divided by amps. It all comes full circle, and all 3 equations interact with each other, and you can find, as long as you've got 2, you can find the missing 1. It's kind of like algebra. So I just shut this little guy off so it's not blowing right in my face because it's pretty warm. I actually took the energy from this. It's not even hooked up anymore, but it was sitting about 110 degrees. That's the solar panel I was running it on that we use to operate this simple little solar system. So we've got our 12.5, and then we've got 10 watts on the pump. So the whole system is about 35 watts per hour minus our 100-watt heater. So we've got this silver tube in there is our heater, and that runs off of 100 watts. And it doesn't always get full power, but even with a cloudy day, I'm noticing that it is heating up and it is operating. Take a look back at this guy. Everything is operating as it should. It's actually putting out some decent airflow. It's cooling me off back here. Let's go take a look. Oh, so you guys can see we've got, I guess I skipped right over all this. We've got a whole bunch of goodies here to set up new systems. We've got larger fans. Everything we planted last week, you guys watched the video where we're talking about winter planting. All our transplants are doing very well. I've noticed some butterflies in here trying to lay their little larvae on here, so we got to keep picking off little green worms so they don't eat up all of our kale, hitting collards and stuff. We've got lots of lettuce. So I pulled my shade cloth off here so we get good phototropism, which is the act of plants reaching for the sun. We do not want them to get too leggy. We want full sunlight. And I've got my lights in a box down there. We're going to be running our lights through our tunnel here in order to get better phototropism and growth before it gets too cold. Just kind of zooming in here. We've got all these planted. Lots of little crops popping up in here. Just a sea of little green. It kind of looks like little specks, but there's so much life in here. All these perennial leeks there. So coming on down, this is our geothermal, simple heat proof. We've got our doors open still, so I don't want to run this. We don't want to put extra moisture into our geothermal from atmospheric humidity. As it goes down and cools off, it drops all the moisture before it comes out because the geothermal does work very well. Got a little fan that doesn't operate off anything but heat. I don't know where my son went. His bread's done. Heck yeah, free food right there. So we've got other little fans that we've used. Same exact fan that's on our geothermal to operate Geothermal, operate our compost heater. All the air from the greenhouse gets sucked in that tube and gets blown back out as warm air as it's heated from compost. Now, got solar powered timers to operate our water moving systems. That's what these lines are here. This is our compost heating line. We just run a pump up to that. I got to clean this whole tank out. It's empty right now, but very simple to run all of these solar systems, and they operate very well for us. Going to be getting the pond dug up here. Everything's looking really good. All these perennial leeks, we harvested all the seeds from them, and now they've just rejuvenated in growth. We should have a decent little cluster of these. You can see there's just multiples growing out from the shoots. So wherever we had harvested, we've got new growth coming up. All the strawberries are flowering. It's been cold at night, but we're still getting decent temps inside the greenhouse. We've had the door closed a few nights just because it was getting down to like 40s and stuff. So very cool. Everything's really popping to life in this bed here. This little bed for all the perennials throughout the winter. We've got a lot more planting to do. Our little eastern prickly cactus, I've got a ton of these. So all of these crops that are in here are getting planted in the ground as we go. I've just got to clean up a little bit. I wanted to run this experiment and set all of this up for you guys today. I got myself a bunch of water pumps to run experiments this winter here. So with that, this is a simple solar system. Very easy to set up once you understand how it operates and understand how to put it together properly. Whew, that sun feels good. It's getting a little bright in here. So if anybody has any questions on setting this stuff up or what I talked about today, I wanted to just kind of fill it in and make it a little bit more of an entertaining exercise so it wasn't just numbers being thrown at you. I didn't want it to be too boring. So if anybody has any questions, let me know. Drop them in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video.